The phone rang at exactly 2:03 a.m. At my age, calls at that hour don't bring good news. They bring dread, cold, immediate and suffocating. My heart started pounding before I even reached for the phone, as if my body already knew something was wrong. I stared at the screen. Unknown number. For a moment I considered ignoring it, but then a thought slipped in, sharp and terrifying. What if it's about my son? My fingers trembled as I answered. Hello. There was silence at first, then a voice low and hurried, almost whispering. Irina, thank God you picked up. I froze. The voice sounded familiar, too familiar. Who is this? I asked, my throat tightening. A pause, then. It's me, Daniel. My son. My chest tightened so suddenly I had to sit up. Daniel, why are you calling from an unknown number? Are you okay? He exhaled sharply as if he had been running. I don't have time to explain, I'm in trouble. Those words, I'm in trouble, they pierce deeper than anything a parent can hear. What happened? I asked, already swinging my legs out of bed. Where are you? At a hotel. I messed up, Mom. His voice cracked, and that broke me faster than anything else. My card got declined. They're saying I can't leave unless I settle the bill. He hesitated. It's $9,000. My breath caught. $9,000, I repeated, stunned. Daniel, what hotel charges that much? What are you talking about? It's complicated, he snapped, his voice suddenly tense. Please, Mom, I don't have time. They're threatening to call the police. Police? My heart dropped into my stomach. I don't understand. Why would they call the police over a bill? They're saying it's fraud, he said, his voice rising. That I used a card I couldn't pay for. I don't know, okay? I just need you to send the money, right now. There was something off. Not in his words, but in his urgency, in the way he didn't let me think. Still, it was my son. I don't have that kind of money just sitting around, I said, panic creeping in. Daniel, what did you do? Mom, he snapped, and I flinched. This is not the time for questions. If you don't help me, I'm going to jail. Silence filled the room. The kind of silence that makes your thoughts scream. I'll try, I whispered. Just tell me where to send it. He exhaled, relieved. I'll text you the details, you have to hurry. Before I could say another word, the call ended. I sat there in the dark, my phone still pressed to my ear. Something wasn't right. Daniel never spoke to me like that. Never. He was impatient sometimes, yes, distant even, but not harsh, not cold. And yet, what if he really is in trouble? That thought overpowered everything else. A second later, my phone buzzed. A message. Bank details, instructions, urgent. I stared at it, my hands shaking. $9,000. It was almost everything I had saved over the past 10 years. My late husband's pension, my careful budgeting, every sacrifice. All of it. I stood up slowly and walked to the window. The street outside was empty, silent under the dim glow of a flickering streetlight. Think, Irina, I muttered to myself. Think. I tried calling Daniel's real number. It went straight to voicemail. Once, twice, 3 times. No answer. My chest tightened. What if his phone is dead? What if he really is stuck somewhere? The message buzzed again. Mom, please, they're getting angry. Send it now. The words felt like a hand closing around my throat. I walked to my desk, opened the drawer and took out my bank book. My entire life, reduced to numbers on a page. Could I risk it? Could I risk losing everything? But then, could I risk losing my son? I sat down and opened my laptop. The banking website loaded slowly, painfully slowly, as if time itself had thickened. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. And then, another thought crept in. Why a hotel? Daniel wasn't someone who stayed in expensive hotels. He was practical, careful with money. And $9,000. That wasn't just a bill. That was something else. Something bigger. I grabbed my phone again and typed, "Which hotel are you at?" The reply came instantly. "Mom, please don't waste time, just send the money." My stomach dropped. That wasn't an answer. I tried again. "Tell me the name, I'll call them." This time there was a delay. A long one. Too long. When the reply finally came, it was different. Sharper. "Why are you doing this?" I said, "Send IT." My hands went cold. Daniel had never yelled at me like that. Not once. Not even as a teenager. I leaned back in my chair, my heart pounding. Something was very, very wrong. I picked up the phone and called my neighbor, Mrs. Khan. She answered on the third ring, her voice groggy. "Irina, is everything okay?" "I'm sorry to wake you," I said quickly, my voice shaking, "but I need your help right now." Within 10 minutes, she was at my door, wrapped in a shawl, concern etched across her face. "What happened?" I explained everything, the call, the message, the money. She listened quietly, her expression growing more serious with every word. When I finished, she didn't hesitate. "This is a scam." The words hit me like a slap. "No," I said immediately. "It's Daniel," I recognized his voice. She shook her head gently. "These people are very clever. They can mimic voices, or they gather information from social media. They create panic so you don't think." "But what if it's really him?" I whispered. "What if I don't send the money and something happens to him?" Mrs. Khan placed a hand on my shoulder. "And what if it's not him, and you lose everything you've saved?" I looked down at my hands. They were trembling. "I don't know what to do," I admitted. She took a deep breath. "We verify first." "How?" "We call someone who knows Daniel, a friend, a colleague, anyone." I blinked. Of course. Why hadn't I thought of that? I scrolled through my contacts and found Daniel's friend, Ahmed. It was a long shot, but it was something. I called. He answered almost immediately, his voice alert. "Auntie Irina, is everything okay?" "Ahmed, I'm so sorry to call at this hour," I said, "but is Daniel with you?" There was a pause. "No, I haven't seen him in 2 days. Why?" My heart sank. "Can you try calling him?" I asked. "Right now." "Of course." A minute later, he called back. "He picked up," Ahmed said. My breath caught. "He what?" "He's at home," Ahmed continued. "He said he was sleeping. He sounded confused." "Why?" The room spun. I had to sit down. "Thank you," I whispered. "Thank you so much." I ended the call slowly. Mrs. Khan watched me carefully. "Well?" I looked up at her, my eyes filling with tears. "It wasn't him." My phone buzzed again. "Last warning, send the money or you'll regret it." This time I didn't feel fear. I felt anger. A deep, burning anger. They had used my son's voice. They had used my love. They had almost taken everything from me. I picked up the phone and typed. I spoke to my son, he's safe at home. The typing bubble appeared. Then disappeared. Then nothing. No reply. No more messages. Just silence. The next morning I called Daniel. He was horrified. "Mom, I would never ask you for money like that," he said. "Especially not like that." "I know," I replied softly. "I should have trusted that." We reported the incident to the authorities. They told me it was a common scam, one that targeted older people, especially parents. "They rely on fear," the officer said. "Fear makes people act without thinking." I nodded. Because I had felt that fear. I had almost given in to it. That night I sat by the window again, looking out at the quiet street. But this time I wasn't afraid. I was wiser. Stronger. And grateful. Grateful that I had paused. Grateful that I had questioned. Grateful that I hadn't lost everything. Moral of the story. Fear is a powerful weapon, but it is also a blinding one. When panic takes over, even the smartest people can make dangerous decisions. Always pause, verify, and think, especially when urgency is used against you, because those who manipulate fear don't need force, they only need you to stop thinking.